Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Check this out. Looky. If you were here at the end of the show this morning, not quite as spicy I'm hoping for, but who knows by the morning what can happen. That's where we're heading. Hopefully. There you go. Threw that out right at the end. And also, the other one. Looky. I got both of those right. So far. Almost can't believe it. You know, sometimes I get lucky. I tell you. Sometimes I get lucky. Sometimes I don't know. Hey. Blind squirrel finds a nut. Blind hog finds a nut. You tell me. So, what's on top? Google and AMD earnings. And throw me over here. We have GDP and PCE coming up this week. Back to back. And that's funny. I get an alert that somebody else is live right now. Looks like, I don't know. Whatever. And so here we go. We've got on the calendar Wednesday, advanced GDP. And the numbers that were coming out today are expecting this to come in light, like 2.8%. Maybe even lighter than that. Was like the estimates I saw last week were 3.3. Now we're looking at 2.8. If you took out government spending, it'd probably be a contraction. I tell you what. These don't look good. And then we get some pending home sales and crude oil inventories right there. 10:30 tomorrow. Then on Friday, I'm already skipping ahead. On Thursday, we get PCE right there. 8:30 in the morning. It's Powell's favorite inflation number right here. 1 week ahead of the FOMC meeting, which is next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Right after the election. And then we have Friday, we get the non-farm employment change, unemployment rate there. 8:30 Friday, November 1st, before the market opens. Time change happens for the U.S. this weekend. We've got the election next Tuesday, U.S. presidential election. We may or may not find out the results of that for a couple weeks. We may not. The poly market hit 70% today, I think it was. Somebody was posting pictures of 70%. I see 66 right now. We'll see. I don't know. $2.6 billion. Billion dollars with a B right there. Who's running for president? These two jokers. Doesn't matter who wins. And on the ballot for me, there's like 18 people on the ballot. These two plus about 16 more of their closest friends. And we'll see. One of these two will probably be the winner. The other 16 are just almost comical. But it's like if you watch part of Joe Rogan with Trump, you know, Trump was saying, you know, you could try to be a third party, but really this country is a two-party system. Even if you were to be successfully elected president as a third party, you're not going to have the ability to do anything with Congress, because unless you really are good at, you know, making people like you. So that was an interesting takeaway. I usually stay out of politics because it doesn't really matter two craps for what we're doing. what we're doing is going to go on regardless of who wins. All right. And we're nearing a top in the markets, and it, regardless of who wins, we're probably going to get a big correction. And that's what it looks like. The reasons, I kind of have two speculative reasons why, the two narratives that kind of go with each potential outcome candidate, but the net result is the same, down. And actually, the net result is an inability, or a withdrawal of government spending, either by insolvency or by just straight up cutting it. And the net result is withdrawal in the economy from government spending. I mean, just government spending has to cut back, and the economy will react like a heroin addict when, with withdrawal, basically, from that spending. When the growth for the last several years has all been on government spending and not in real economy, it's gonna but it's going to happen, and that's what's gonna create chaos in the economy. It's gonna happen both ways, basically, either debt insolvency or through cutting, and it's going to hurt both ways. I mean, that's bottom line what we got. We kicked the can down the road so many times that it's gonna hurt. So pick your poison. Double bad either way. Double bad. So that's GDP based on, and then the PCE. I don't really have a good feel for PCE at the moment, but probably relatively benign. It may come in line. I don't have the year over year, but 0.3%. And we were at 0.1, so 0.3 is ticking up. Kind of a big tick up too. So that indicates that inflation already coming back a little bit. So yeah, sometime next year probably. The scenarios I'm looking at right now, if we pop on big tech earnings this week, let's do this first. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I say it and predict it doesn't mean it'll come true. And this presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. So don't trade stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. You may lose money. All right. So scenario one, and let's just do this. Right, scenario one. We get a pop into next Friday. Why next Friday? Because FOMC is Thursday. If we ramp, we get some kind of ginormous pop, they cut rates, whatever, elect whoever wins, whatever happens, we get some giant pop into next Friday. That's probably the end. We're talking like 6,000 plus on the SPX. Like 21 to 22,000 on Nasdaq. So that's the ES number. That's the Nasdaq number right there. That's scenario number one. We ramp into next Friday. It's probably an immediate sudden death. And then probably do a bounce and then get the real big down. And that could last a while. Could last a couple years. Scenario number two. Oh, didn't click my drawer. Scenario number two. We chop around between now and next Friday. Even maybe small pullback into next Friday. Small, all the way down to the daily roadmap line, counts as small. Then, highly likely, we're going to rally into Q1, possibly Q2. Well, I'm writing with this is horrible. I can draw pretty easy. Writing, not so good. So this is like, this would be, let's say 90% likely. If we pull back and we ramp into Q1, Q2, maybe Q3 or later, plus this is 2025. This 10% chance, maybe. I'm thinking right now. That's just right now. Just crystal ball, you know, my bag of unicorn dust I keep on the, you know, just trying to read the unicorn dust off the bottom of my shoes. We rally, get up to that maybe as high as 6,600 on SPX. EX. And that could be like 24,000 on NQ. Ridiculous numbers before we top out. Now then we lead into probably 2-decade correction before we ever see this high again. Maybe 30-year, 20 to 30-year probably. Probably do a big down for a number of years, a big up for a number of years, lower high for a number of years, down again. And it'll probably be 20 to 30 years before we make it back up to the high. Could go down to the Santa Claus rally would be in this situation here. This is dropping through next Friday and then rallying. You know, chopping or dropping. One or the other. And then that's the two main scenarios I have working right now. So 2 working theories. I see a top likely either immediately, we'll find out that pretty quickly, or it's going to drag out maybe Q2 next year. Let's ballpark it. Maybe mid next year. All right. That's kind of the 2 scenarios I'm working with right now. And I don't like the other threat that nobody's really talking about. It's the one I mentioned the other day. The RRP is showing signs of insolvency. Some fits in liquidity. Reverse repo facility. It's the overnight banking lending facility thing. And showing some signs of liquidity issues. And that's kind of what blew apart the whole thing, the House of Cards in 2008. So that could be a contributor to current problems. Looking at AMD, probably heading down here. All right. Let's go on the red list, cover the main suspects, and then we'll take requests. So don't throw your requests yet. Wait till we get there. So chopping right now could just be chopping in here through next Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday. Or even a drop down to here. And some people might be like, holy balls, a 5,500 drop. I mean, we were just down there. I mean, we weren't even down. We were down lower than that just in August. So we could sudden death drop right back down to this 5,500 area right there. Entirely possible. So we did not get the double hit right here in September like we did on Nasdaq. And Nasdaq got a double hit. Now Nasdaq looks like it wants to pop right on up here at 22.4, 20, 21, 22. If we blow this baby out with big tech earnings, or right up here next Friday, that could be it. That may be it. Watch for that. I bounce up here, and we do that, and then a big flush. That would be no Santa rally. or possibly a Santa rally right here, but you know, that's it's gonna be pretty awful if we do that. So that's now if we get another pullback here, into next Friday. We could rally on out there mid next year. Like I said, possibly up to like 24 on NQ. We get a little flush out into next Friday. That's what this little purple zone is. And then we rally and rally and rally. Somewhere out here, mid, yeah, fits. Mid 2025. Right there. There you go. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, I guess you might say, Ray. We repeat the cycles. Now, the other thing, if you haven't seen this before, check this out. SPX all-time history. Where are you? I need the all-time history. I think maybe it's this one. Let's turn this off a second. Does this go back as far as I need it? I'm gonna have to change to a line chart. And maybe a monthly chart. Yeah, there it is. Check this out. Humming along. Nice climb path. And then we do that. Right? And then we do that. If you haven't seen this before, interesting, right? Ignore the numbers over here for a minute. Now, look at this. Humming along. Where do we top out? Probably coming back down. 100 years later. So, be careful out there. That's the moral of the story. Be careful out there. Maybe like, wow, that's not gonna happen again. But I don't know. Sure does look a lot the same. Just yeah, looks a lot like Nvidia, right? Yeah, looks a lot like. Look at that. Nvidia does the same thing over and over. I mean, look, did that right there. We roll back a little bit. See what happened right there. Roll back a little bit. See what happened right there. Roll back a little bit. See what happened right there. Nvidia does this over and over. That's why I got giant arrows on there. So, gotta be careful. History repeats. And this pattern, funny enough, is that pattern right there. All right, they call it the everything bubble because everything is in a bubble. Like that's, it's like, where's the safe place to go? There probably isn't one because everything's a bubble. All right, we're all geniuses. We've all gotten fat off of this giant up in the market for the last 100 years. And we might get into some complacency. We might get this initial drop, this retrace. See how this is consistent with what I just said? Initial drop, a retrace, and then a big drop off the bottom of the chart. Ugh, that might be pretty gnarly. Could last a while. All right. Everybody with me? JT, you're so kind of not pleasant this evening. It's because we're getting to a point that concerns me. So Google, Boom. Boom goes the dynamite right there. And where did my other... You gotta be kidding me, man. It closed my... All right. Hold on. I gotta find something. Had a tab up with what I wanted to show, and one of my browsers crashed right before I went live. Give me 1 second to pull it back up. It invalidated the image. There we go. And here we go. Here's the rest of the week. Today, AMD, Alphabet. We had Snap, Chipotle, Visa, First Solar, Reddit, some other ones on here. Then we've got Microsoft, Meta, and Coinbase tomorrow. So with Bitcoin's price action today, Coinbase, come on. Oh my gosh, come on. Wow. Coinbase, there we go. Didn't really do much. Post-market, just kind of sitting there. 220, hadn't really broken through yet. If we break through 230, upside. But if we don't, well, downside may be coming. Now, Meta, looks like we're going to retrace. You know, possible. I mean, anything's possible. I would give this higher likelihood we retrace over continue the pop. Just the way this looks like to me. We are extended. We bottomed out back here in July and August, and we've hit the targets on the upside. And even though it's probably going higher on Google, we may see a retrace on Meta. Now, Microsoft, on the other hand, looks a lot like Google, and we may see an upside boom. And Meta may just go along with it, but that looks like upside potential. The way Google this morning, I said had upside potential. That's what that looked like right there. Upside potential. Upside potential. Now, Hood also has nice upside potential. Potential. So this has rallied from there, retraced here pretty deeply. 32, 36, 40. And we went to a log scale. I don't know. 51, 72, 113. Seems less likely. I'd roll with the 32, 36 being the most likely out of this whole set of data. And that's why I have the alert there sitting at 31. And then one up here at 45. I may GTFO my shares if we get to 45. I don't foresee going up here right now. All right. And Amazon hitting the rest of big tech here. Give that one, I am long this and give it upward bias right now. If we fail for some reason, get below the roadmap line, we're coming down here. The only thing that concerns me, we did an initial drop and we haven't been able to get through this resistance here. Struggling, and coming into earnings, it's either going to make it or break it. And it does have a bigger upside target at 240, but it may need this retrace before we can get that upside. Just not sure on that one. Not the highest confidence. That's a little closer to a coin flip for me on Amazon. I'm probably going to hold my position through earnings because at this point, I mean, here's the statistics on the position. Has nothing to do with the current price action. The statistics go like this. 95% right there, historically, with a profit factor of 21. That's on 22 closed trades, so not quite a statistical population right there. 95% of the time it's worked. We kicked off the entry right there. Right up here is the target. Right up there, that 208 area. Right there. So that's 95% of the time it's worked out. Can it still fail? Yeah. Failed 5% of the time. 1 out of 20 times. We'll see. And then Apple probably going to go higher. It's probably going to go up here and hit the target. Now it may, there's always the chance, well, it already broke out and retested the breakout. It's like 80% chance we're going to pop. Now, the thing I've seen happen in the 3.5 years I've been doing this, it has hit the upside target in the aftermarket and dropped before the next open. And nobody's been able to close the options. So, be careful. It's entirely possible we go up here and hit this in the closed post market, and then we drop the fudge out back down here, head down here. Entirely possible. All right, that's kind of what we got cooking here, and I've kind of hit on the indexes a little bit. Yes, like I said, we may, if we can. I drew this morning. Well, I drew it yesterday morning. I drew these two lines right here. If we break down, we're going down. If we break out, we're going up. And if we, as I said this morning, we may just go. I said that yesterday morning. I said it again this morning. We may just continue sideways. And if we continue sideways chop into next Friday, that's okay. We may just grind higher into middle of next year. In Q, now that one, a little different story. We actually started breaking out today, and that looks like we're tilting the odds. We're going to continue the party higher with big tech. Not too shabby. This will reopen in about 30 minutes and start moving again. Russell is just grinding sideways in a nasty, gnarly set of price action. Back to the daily for this one. Good grief, man. We have upside resistance right here at 2270. We have not tagged it. If we do pop up and tag it and then start rolling down, that may lead to a bigger downside. Oil. Golly, man. This is probably going down. The target probably down here around 60. This can drop out about $7 pretty quick. We can make a bottom and turn pretty quickly. And gasolina. Looks like we're going like that. Looks like a Head and Shoulders also right there. Little baby shoulder on that last head, shoulder. So if that is in fact what we did, something like that, down to $1.70 on, and you'd be like, there ain't no way we're seeing that kind of price at the pump. And that's true. These are wholesale prices without taxes. And there's like $1 something of tax almost everywhere. Or I guess it depends on where you are, but you know, like 70 cents to $1. And if you're in California, it's like $20. So, heating oil, that was sarcasm. Heating oil, diesel fuel is what this is. Same kind of pattern. Rejection of the roadmap line. And that corresponds with the targets right there. Right in that vicinity. And natural gas. Well, that's crazy. That must be the contract rollover. Something. I don't know. That's unusual. You get a gap like that on natural gas. I expected that. I've said that for a while. That I expect this to rally up into this $3.60 to $4 area right up here. Probably said that for almost a year now. And GC, new highs, new highs. Riding along with Bitcoin, going higher. Potential to rally on up to this 2,900 area right up here over the coming weeks. Silver. Somebody's a liar. Somebody said tag 35 today. Not today. It did last week. But I never pulled up the chart. We did tag the bottom of the bubble again. I want to see this get on up to 36 at this point. Get some continuation. If we can get to 35, I'll probably close out one of my positions. Nice big fat one. Make my money back from the August 5th drop where I got pre-liquidated in the pre-market. That sucked, and I was not a fan, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, low gas price does support a Harris win, but and it still might. And it's actually low oil price. They're doing everything they can to drop that oil into the election. So watch out though. If this dips and rips, if we dip it and then rip it into next Tuesday, that can happen. We could dip $7 this week and be back up in the coin flip zone. It'd be a wild ride, but oil has done that before. Look at some of these moves. We can V bottom it. Look at that. Where's my measure tool? There it is. Look how far down we went. One day. 10 points in one day. Right there. We could drop it 7 points and be right back up. That one right there. And almost 7 points. And we were right back in 1 day down, 3 days back up. It can happen. It's not that unusual. It's not even that unusual pre-COVID. There's some points in here where we got some big candle moves. Oil has been a lot more volatile recently, but look right back here. When the market becomes unstable, we get big moves in oil. It's just one of the side effects. When the economy is a bit unstable, that was a 19-point drop in a few days and right back up. Right there. It was at higher prices, but hey, you know, can't all be winners. All right. So this can dip and pop right back up, and we could be up here next Tuesday. I'm not saying anything. I mean, everything's possible at this point. And copper still looking weak. This has done a 1-2 or AB setup or X1 WX. That was an initial drop, a retrace, and we may do a 5-wave down to the target down here. Dr. Copper is not saying the world economy is very strong right here. Be careful. All right. Bitty Bitcoin. All-time history. This one right here. So we made a valiant effort today. It's actually a beautiful thing on the Bitcoin futures chart. We actually made a higher high today and tagged that circle, which amuses me. Now here's the problem. That move and that move overlap. So if this is the final move, this was a correction off of this low, and we could go lower low. That's not good. Now, the positive would be that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and this was the start of a 3, but we need to get to this level to get the continuation for that 3. And we got a 4, 5 somewhere up here, and a 4, 5. Whoops, clicked on the wrong thing. On up there. On up way off the top of the chart. Now, something I showed off in Crypto Power Plays today. The first, let's go back to, actually, let's go to a clean chart so I don't have to delete everything. All-time history. Check this out. Here's the beginning of Bitcoin, right? There was no pullback here. It was just the origin and the first pop, all right? Now, the first pop, we had a retrace, set some fib lines, and pull this down where we can see it. Get my proportions right. Yeah, there it is. So we had our first run, all right? Right here. That move, that retrace, that first run, 272. Almost exactly. Just barely exceeding it. Cool. We did stop at the 1618, retraced, and then got the energy to keep on going. That's pretty neat, right? 272 target off of the regular pullback extension thing. Now, that was a high, and we pulled back again. That was the high. This was the low right down here. Slightly lower than that one. And pull this in. We had a halving in 2012, and then we had another one in 2016. Right over in here. And we kicked off a new run. That new run went to the 272 again. Almost exactly. Almost a mirror image of the first one, right? We got through the 1272, retraced a little bit up to the 1618, retraced a little bit, and took a trip up to the 272. Cool. That's 2 in a row. Now, last halving event happened in, so this was the new high. This was the retrace. It was a deep retrace, yes. And then we got the next run. And this one disappointed a little bit because we only got to the 1618. We got to the 1618, we retraced, and then we failed to go higher. Right there at the 1618. That was it. Then we retraced, and we went down. There was the high. Here was the low down here at 15,000. And now, here we are. Now, we could stop at the 1448. Could stop at the 1272 for once. 1618 seems pretty likely. And if we do a catch up, 272, those are the numbers we're looking at right there. Right there, right there, 172, and 457. That seems kind of lofty. Yeah. More realistic. Something right in here, 100,000. Could we just spike it and drop? You betcha. Could we spike that one and drop? Yeah. We didn't hang out at the tops for very long back here. None of them lasted very long. Just a matter of days. And we're dropping. Now we gave you 2 attempts. Like a few days up there, a few days up there. And down. So you need to have some targets in mind. Now, lots of people are like, oh, everybody's talking about the Bitcoin's going up, so the ship must be tipped. How many people do you know in your life talking about Bitcoin right now? Just think about it. How many people have you heard talking about NVIDIA and AI versus talking about how Bitcoin's breaking out to new highs? Be careful who you surround yourself with. All right. If you're around traders that are crypto-centric, everybody's talking about crypto. If you're around other people, nobody knows jack about Bitcoin. Lots of people know about NVIDIA that don't know jack about stock trading. So Upside opportunity. And my long-term target I was looking for was just right there at 154, which is 10 times higher than where we bottomed down here. All right. Now, time for requests. So the rules on requests. You got to type in all caps, use complete tickers. If you got a question about a ticker, you write in complete sentences. If I skip something, either you messed up by not following the rules or I just missed it. And if you tell me I missed it, just tell me what I missed. And don't just be like, you missed it, and I have to go looking for it because I don't know. I'm not going to find it. One ticker per person per request. Let at least one person go, if not two, and then you can go again. And I'll stay until I need to go. So, all right, Cisco is first one up. And that's a choppy sideways chart for years and years and years. It's been going nowhere for 20 years. This was a hot stock a long time ago. And looky here. See what happens when you get a bubble and you bust it? It can take a long time. And we've never been back to this high in Cisco. And honestly, I'm not sure we can get it. That's a rough, choppy chart. I don't see a lot of direction. If we're going to go higher, if we possibly could break out, which we've rejected this area once late last year, a year ago, we possibly could get up to maybe 68. That's about as high as I would expect right there. All right. And Crocs is in the toilet, as I went through this morning, and likely to keep going down. And I'll pop back over to the other chart here where I drew Crocs this morning. There's the downside target for Crocs. And MCD, important earnings. I still give that one a likelihood of dropping right down here. Finding support, turning up higher, breaking above that, and getting the continuation up here to the target. So this is a key level here, but we do have the gap down to contend with and to fill that gap before we can get up there. So it's a problem area right there in McDonald's chart. But before we get there, I expect downside to the roadmap line first. ADBE is a long-term bad chart. Bounce and maybe heading down here to 340. Yeah, 370, 340, 320, somewhere there. Nothing changed. Nothing's going to change for a while. Hive is lower highs, potentially breaking out, but that's a nasty looking chart with a lot of history of lower highs. I would be careful. If Bitcoin really gets sparky, this thing might pop, but be careful. We have a reverse split back here, which makes it a dumpster fire piece of garbage chart. And just like HUT, I stay away from Hive. HUT has a reverse split over here. Those go on my do not trade list when they do that. And so far, fired off an Apollo trade earlier today. That's probably going to get a retrace on the daily charts, but we could. We popped up, we retrace and pop up some more. And roadmap line bounce, potential for that to come back above 54 to get the extension up to 60, 61, 62, possibly 66. The bigger 618s for the bigger retrace sitting up there at 6470-ish, 6460-ish. If we get above that, we could be on a rally to 94, but we got a lot of work to do to get there. So we may meet some significant resistance right up here at this 64, 65 area right there. And Tesla. hit the target on the upside. Intermediate retrace for now. That's what I expect. Retrace back to here, 220, before we can make the next move up. We'll see. Next move up probably only get up into here before retrace again. All right, and next up is SNPS. It is under the roadmap line with a downward bias. Bounce down would be the expectation. That low, come on. That low, that high. Bounced off the 618, hit the resistance here. If we break below this 618, likely to come down here. If we break higher than that, may come back, retrace, and then go higher. That would be the tell on SNPS. And QQQ, how high can it go? Watch this. Watch this. We already did this right. You see that right there, right? NQ divided by 41 is roughly QQQ. So we talked about 21.4. So I'll clear this off. 21,400 divided by 41, roughly 521. QQQ, roughly 521 right there. Look in between those two numbers right there. 514, 524, 521 right there. Right in the magic sauce. May go as high as 551. You go 24,000 divided by 41. Talking about 585, which would be on up here at a little bit crazier levels. Possibly right up in here. We got a ludicrous levels next year. All right, that's how it works. AVAV. Right there, upside target 232. ANF. Watch out. This has a potential head and shoulders in place with another extra shoulder over here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. If we break the neckline, that can get a deep retrace. That's basically the size of the head. Down below, 54 could be the downside on ANF, SN, SSNC. Potential bounce right here. Have significant resistance right there. 78 if we can get above it, and 79 potential. And UPST, that would be in a resistance zone, and I'm not sure it can go higher without a retrace. There. And gap down over here. Haven't filled it. That'll be a resistance point, and we're already turning down there. When we turn down over here, retrace, come back and test it again. It's got that significant resistance to be able to go higher. MU, potential measured bounce to go up here, but we're gonna have to break above that resistance right there. That gap down is. That gap down in there, we got to get it back above that to indicate we might come up to 160, 170, get a retrace, and then go cruising on up to the bigger targets up at 200, 220. And TRIN, Trinity Capital, looks like a garbage chart. That's kind of doing a rainbow thing. I don't remember the other chart with a rainbow on it, but I've drawn one of those before recently. It just kind of like that. What pattern is it? I don't know. I just occasionally I see this pattern and it's just not a great pattern. And I don't have a name for it. It's like an inverse cup and handle, I guess, maybe, possibly. And VRT. Boom, right up to the target. 116, maybe 122, but I'd be protecting profits. IREN. That looks pretty gnarly. Rejected, breaking higher. Resistance right here. If we turn down from that, going down. And USD. Same chart, same thing. I didn't have to change anything. Lower highs. So watch out for that to turn down and go lower. If we can break out of the downtrend, break out of the prior high. Upside target, not very high. 223, but maybe, just maybe, we've kicked off the bigger upside for 305. ECL. Hit the target, retraced. That high, that low. If we hit the roadmap line, sets up a next run for 265, 268. If we can hold it and turn back higher, got to get back through the 254 area to do that. ORCL, it looks like it wants to retrace. That's an extreme target. Retrace would be in order right there. And LEU. And be careful. Like this can retrace very swiftly and violently. It is gone from a very small dollar figure at $1.47 to a very large dollar number at $100. It's 100x in a few short years. This can retrace pretty violently before I can go higher again. Now, the big question though, is it log scale or is it non-log scale? That's the big question. I don't have a good answer. That's peeking out off of that. Yeah. Watch out for the deeper retrace back down to this $40, $50 area, possibly lower. On that one for LEU. CECO. I know some things I say may not be awesome, so if you do or don't like it, you can give me a response, chat, and or emoji, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to. Just react with the video, and it does help. That one potentially finding a bottom around 20. And it could turn up. NVS. Back to the roadmap line. Break back above the 117 area. 122 on the upside for NVS, NVDA. Probably going out to 147.90, 148. Maybe as high as 154. It's kind of waiting on that. Pop right there. Not far to go. Right there. Now, every dollar this moves is $25 billion of market cap added to it. So, law of big numbers. It takes a lot of energy for this thing to move. So, possibly could pop on out, but it's highly likely we're going to get a retrace before long. Where's the bubble end? We're at new highs. Probably going to push it on up. Could pop it pretty big and then roll. Be careful. Know where you're getting out. GPC. And looking for that to come on down just a little bit more. 103. just skipped all the thing all the way down to the bottom. And cool. There we go. Right back to, I did down, ARM. That's got resistance right there. If we break through it, we could rally on up to 204. If we don't, and we break down below the roadmap line, we're probably going to gap fill. So, should put this right over here. In between is a sideways. There's the resistance. Here's the support. And anything in between that is sideways, breaking out up here, breaking down here. There you go. And glob. Nice bounce. Went a little deep to trust it, but 276 looks like a likely upside right there. Could take well into 2025 on the current climb rate. Maybe March, April, May. And MRK. That's heading down here. 94. Nothing changed. You see that people request the same things over and over. I don't really change my view on a lot of these. That high, that low, bounced off the resistance. Probably coming down here. Like that. All right, and next up, GE. Roadmap line. I set it back here, say it again. Roadmap line, wherever it happens to be. Coming to meet it sometime. And Oxy, went over that this morning. Almost to the target. May even go lower though. Could come down to the lower target. Got stacked bubbles. That target and that target on Oxy. And ALD. Glanced off the roadmap line. If we can break through, that can change the odds. But right now, odds are we're going to get continuation lower with the steep descent of the roadmap line. Down. Bounced off the roadmap line. Break down below the 618 there. And continuation lower. If we can hold it and break above, that would be the first initial sign. We're going to reverse, get a retrace, hold it, turn back higher, entry for an upside. So lots of stuff to look at on ALB and not even a trade for me at this point. We could churn it for another year before we might get an opportunity. I mean, it could go faster, but maybe not. VKTX turned down at the resistance. Downside, maybe. Down in here. And there's four things that don't always follow my patterns. One of those is low price stuff. That's equities under $10. Doesn't count cryptos, just equities. One of those is biotech, medical specialty, pharmaceuticals, that sort of stuff. Anything the Food and Drug Administration of the United States involved in, VKTX. Number 3 would be China stuff. And number 4, anything with leverage. So those four things don't always follow the pattern. So this one may or may not actually follow the pattern. That all said, Trump USD sounds like a piece of, sounds like a garbage coin to me. Trump. There's the market open again. I'll have to look at Trump USDT on, let's go with BitMEX. Trump Tether, I can't pull any USD. And there's not enough candles to do jack squat with, so got nothing. Sorry. Crocs are ugly shoes. Hey, careful. You get wrong or upset. It's his favorite footwear. Zebra has resistance up here at 460. NVO. Oops, missed the NVO. Almost to the target. Right there. Some people say it's magic. It's just math. These are patterns that work over and over. Right there's the target, 109. I've been doing this for a number of years to get this good at it. And I've been, gosh, we're getting near 7 years I've been doing these fib lines like this. So that's the wrong Hal. We need the, you're looking for the New York version, not the Indian version. And we're at the target zone for potentially bottoming, but if we break down below that, we could flush this baby out. Like I said, oil may need a flush out. Dip and rip. Did y'all see China announcing 10 more trillion won stimulus for their economy? I said it was going to happen. LAC. I would be very careful. They announced a new mine, whatever potential. This was what was laughable. The mine, at least the news I saw, was saying they were going to be able to produce enough lithium for 400,000 cars a year. And look at Tesla's Q4 estimated sales. It's over 540,000 cars just for Q4 this year. It's like they can't even supply Tesla's lithium for a quarter. 400,000 cars is like nothing. So big, sure, but it's not meaningful, life-changing kind of numbers here. So this one's been pretty rough for a while. That's low price stuff, so be careful. That's a big bubble chart right there. See, we did the exponential. This was a choppy, violent piece, and then we came out. We went right back down. That's the bubble. They don't always look perfectly the same. Grass, USD. Oops. And we have to grab crypto.com's numbers. There's no data. I can't chart that. Sorry. CRWD. Is stuck under this resistance, and it has the upside potential to blast off, but we got to get through this gap down resistance here to do it. So this is a little more accurate if this was up here. There's the resistance. If we turn down, this is a very real target, and then this one below that. CRWD for you, CRM. That has a potential upside of way up here at 400 right there. Could take a while, maybe well into 2025, 2026 possibly. LTBR. Light bridge. That's a dangerous chart. Whew. What's that hiding over here? Reverse split. It's on my do not trade list. I wouldn't trade it. You can do what you want to. I wouldn't trade it with your money, though. Be careful. That's a piece of garbage. DJT. The risk here. This goes to back to the bottom if Challenger does not win. It's right at the resistance. And that has no pattern off of that low. It just shot straight up. That's bubble pattern territory. So watch for some kind of blow off, some kind of chop, and an indication we're coming back down again. This hit the target I was saying for a long time. Feels like a long time. We got up here. I said, hey, it's coming back down here. Got there. Hit it almost exactly what I thought. Then we took off again. Okay, hello. Oklo. So is this a bubble now, or is it the start of a bubble that's going to be much bigger? I don't know. Right now, it's just kind of a heartbeat. Like there's no real ability to chart anything there. Did CRM. I did LTBR. Not sure where y'all came up with that one. VZ. Riding the roadmap line. As long as we hold that support, it looks pretty good. That high, that low. Break back above that gap down at 44. Could get up to 46, 46.50. Much better cell phone company chart is this one. But that's starting to look exponential and may come back down. And I thought I already did VRT. Did I not do VRT? I just VRT a minute ago. Pretty sure I did. It's at the target. There's nothing to. It's at the target. Watch out for the retrace. INZ. Nothing. And NNE. Watch out. That turned down at the resistance. First move down. Retrace. We're going to have to go to switch to guns. Switch to. That could come down to $4. Ah, missed the click. Can come down to $4 right there. Marvell. Chips not superheroes. Target is up there just off the top at 91.80. Probably highly likely. NKE. Turn down at the roadmap line. Probably making a lower low. Right at support. 78. We get below support. Probably coming down here. We are right at it right there. If we break below that, highly likely we're coming on down. UPS. Glanced off the roadmap line. Break below this. It's like the same story. Break below that. Probably coming down here. And SMR. The problem with a lot of these right here, the people that make nuclear fuel is Russia. We don't have production capacity in the United States to make nuclear fuel, and that creates a problem for a lot of these. So it's likely getting near some sort of top and may retrace. Doesn't have to. Didn't do it over here. We didn't break down. I'd be careful. That might be approaching a played out. We could rally on up to 29, 51, 69, but it's going to retrace before too long. PPL. Probably going to retrace. And snap. Is that earnings today or tomorrow? That's today. Popping a little bit. Losing a ton of money. I just don't know many people that use Snapchat. And that kind of reflects that too. I mean, I know kids do, but kids don't have money. So how do you make money on a platform where nobody has any money? I mean, Now, as that population that uses this ages and they can monetize it, this could in the future get more spicy. But right now, that looks like a nasty chart. Consolidating at the bottom. All right, back to it. And saw KO next, I think it was. Where did I just do? There it is. All right. KO. Back to the roadmap line. Let's remove the drawings. So we've got that high, that low, break back above here. We go up for 74, 75. MNST. Stuck right there. Ooh, nasty. And they're all doing kind of a similar nasty chart thing. All right, PYPL. Rejecting here. There's a major resistance up there. I bailed on my trade yesterday. Earnings today. Beating on the top, missing on the bottom. Might need a trip back to the roadmap line before we can bounce. That would be a potential to get that. Maybe even that. That would be better to see than just grinding higher. If we grind higher, then it's probably going to do that. All right. SUI. See what we got here. That high, that low. Maybe 280. Maybe. Maybe. CVX. Charlie Victor X-ray. There's the low. There's the high. Break down below this level. That low. These are fuzzy zones, so if you've never seen my work before, I don't hold these lines as definitive, solid, that's the number line, except for the target. All right. When we hit the target, I usually GTFO, but that right there. Do we hold it and bounce? Question mark. Oops. That's a crappy question mark. Or do we break down? Question mark. Question mark. Can't say. That's support. Break below it. It's going down. Bounce off of it. That's resistance right there at the roadmap line. In between, just sideways. MSFT, already went over that earlier. Bias to the upside. There's the targets. And MRO. Breakdown, potentially. I went through that this morning. Potentially to go down to 18. And PLTR. It's been the one I thought was going to retrace and just never hits ideal. We're at the resistance here. If it can break through, potential to break on out and go higher. Now, the difficult thing is this was a low, and this retrace doesn't really mean jack squat. But if we extend that, 58.75, but those numbers don't really mean much right here. So we need a retrace to be able to project another move. We're just at the all-time high resistance at this point, and we may get a pullback, and that can project a new high. So AVGO. My shares and stuff I bought at 7 kind of would have been nice if I just held on to them, but I didn't. So AVGO stuck here. 194 is the target. SFM is just grinding higher. That has no price action to it. It's just a constant grind. It's just like something is just keeps buying it. There's no volatility in that price action. But you start zooming out, and it could go a little more exponential, run out of buyers, and then pull back. So be careful. Snow. Still working on a bottoming and reversal here. Made that low, made that retrace, 618. Potential small measured bounce here, but that only puts us into the roadmap line. Not a great place for me right there. So that may pop right there, and then we turn down and make a lower low somewhere down here. Watch out for that. If we can break through, positive stuff, but with that steep angle of descent, be very careful. MSTR, like I've talked about the last few mornings, potential target up here at 1,000. VST, at the targets. Retrace likely. CMG, at the resistance. If we can break through, 72. If we don't, 41. Did SFM, PP coin. He's just stuck on the roadmap line. If we can bounce, if we can break through that, all those zeros 121, all those zeros 197 would be the target. GLW. Yeah, that bounced right up to the target. 53 potential on the upside. Zeta. Trying to keep up with it, right? Roadmap line will be the next expectation. It's been since all the way back here in January. We're at the roadmap line. Expect it to hit again before we get the next move. We kind of exceeded most of the upside targets for now. I did Oklo into. That's a nasty chart with a reverse split. Don't trade it. Dumpster fire. ASTS. Potential for that to go on up to 42, but also we turned down at the roadmap line, or at the 618 resistance there. So far, if we do that, could get an extension lower. So if we don't break above that 618, right to the roadmap line would be the expectation right in that zone right there. IBM. Back to the roadmap line. Hit the target. Exceeded the target. Roadmap line will be the next stop right down there. 197, 200 area. Maybe by the time we get there, it could be up at 202, 205 maybe. All right. ANET. ANET. Hit targets. Watch for the retrace. And BTBT. Okay. So this one's set to rally. Doesn't have a reverse split. We did the big retrace over here. Potential for that to rally on out. $6, $7. Just small potato stuff. If we're doing the bigger measured bounce, potentially up here 15 to 30. And we've done that in 5 days before. So move from the same area just a little higher, like $5. We went up to 30 in like 5 days. So it can rapidly appreciate. If we do that, GTFO, get out. Or at least book enough profits that you're not going to be upset about it. All right. VS. Reverse split, dumpster fire. don't trade it. PDD. Target is 175, not 180. 175 right there. And PANW, I'm still long shares, looking for a $400 exit. Just keep grinding. 396, 400 right up here. I think my order is at 401. I think that comes from a log scale. Yeah, right there. I have my order at like 401, and I got the target at 467. So, see if that works out. And Square sitting at the resistance. If we can break through, upside 93. And BJ's Warehouse. Turn down. Turn down for what? I just found out they are building one of these in town. Right there. And LMT. Since we got the same two people over and over. Lucky Martin, back to the roadmap line. Right there. And already did snow. LAUR. Back to the roadmap line. Breakdown, watch out below. And LRCX. That is below the roadmap line. Can go lower. Down here. And BMEA. That's just a nasty chart. That's biotech pharmaceutical stuff. And BMO. I thought I did that one. No, Bank of Montreal. Just remember that from last week. There's the resistance. And Textron. Oh no, Texas Instrument. Excuse me. Upside potential 217. Right there. And already did. No. Already did see Netflix. It's played out on the upside. Probably gonna retrace. And NEM already went through. Measured balance or market roadmap balance. Excuse me. So that's the. If you don't know the numbers, right there they are. Go rewind. See what I said. And all right, I caught it all. Already did snow. There you go. All right, I'll be back with you first thing in the morning, 9:15. Same bad time, same bad channel. See you in the morning. Hope you had a great one. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully something was interesting. If not, let me know in the chat or in the description below what you need. I'll do my best to make it better for you. Thanks for coming, everybody. See you in the morning.